They told you your body was just flesh and blood, a biological machine, a container of organs and chemicals, a random accident of nature. But what if that story was the biggest lie of all? What if your body wasn't just alive, but aware? Modern science maps the body like a machine, but ancient systems saw something else entirely. To them, the body wasn't just a vessel, it was a receiver, a multi-layered instrument tuned to the frequencies of the cosmos, every chakra, every gland, every breath, part of a deeper design. You were never meant to just survive, you were meant to transmit. But here's what happened. Over centuries, the original blueprint of the human body was hidden, distorted, overwritten. Western medicine cut off the energy systems, religion told you to shame the body, media taught you to ignore it, and technology trained you to escape it. So now we live in heads full of noise and bodies full of static. But the truth hasn't gone anywhere. It still lives in the ancient temples where sacred geometries mirror the energy centers of the human form. It still pulses in yogic teachings that speak of kundalini and etheric flow. It still whispers through the practices that once honored movement, breath, and sound as gateways to higher realms. Your body is a forgotten antenna, and right now, it's not broken, it's just misaligned. In this episode, we begin the realignment. Think about this. Why do some people enter a room and change the entire atmosphere without saying a word? Why can a touch from one person calm your system while another drains you with a glance? It's not magic, it's resonance, and your body is the interface. Ancient initiates knew the body was layered: physical, energetic, emotional, mental, and spiritual. The chakras weren't metaphors, they were literal energy centers, rotating vortices of vibration. Your spine, not just bone and tissue, it's an antenna array. Your breath, not just air, it's current. In this light, everything changes. Suddenly, posture matters. Breath matters. The food you eat, the sounds you hear, the light you absorb, all of it either clears your signal or scrambles it. And for most people, the signal's been scrambled for a long time. That's why ancient systems focused on purification. Fasting wasn't just for the body, it was for the field. Silence wasn't emptiness, it was alignment. Movement wasn't exercise, it was activation. And today, most people live completely disconnected from this design. We sleep in Wi-Fi fields, eat synthetic frequencies, sit in postures that shut down our core, breathe shallow, speak without vibration, move without presence. We wonder why intuition fades, why synchronicities stop, why our visions dim. But how can a blocked antenna receive a clear signal? The truth is, the body is not in your way. It is your way. And the more you tune it, the more your entire reality begins to respond. Start here. Stand up straight, not in military stiffness, but in conscious alignment. Let your spine stack like a tower. Breathe deep, not to fill your lungs, but to awaken your core. Feel your feet on the ground. Imagine your skull as a satellite dish. Now ask yourself, when was the last time you felt fully inside your body? Because most people aren't. They're stuck in their minds, looping thoughts, imaginary futures, past regrets. Meanwhile, the body, this ancient technology, is left offline, underused, misread, treated like a burden instead of a bridge. But what if presence wasn't just a nice idea? What if it was a skill, an energetic discipline? The more you embody yourself, the more you reconnect to the signal. That signal, the original signal, isn't something you chase, it's something you remember. It's the hum behind your heartbeat, the rhythm beneath your breath. And here's the secret most spiritual paths forget. You don't ascend away from the body, you ascend through it. That's why the system trains you to disconnect, with constant distractions, with overstimulation, with ideas that the body is sinful or irrelevant. Because if you ever truly return to your body, you return to power. And if this resonates with you so far, don't miss the rest of this journey. This is episode 3 of a 7-part series uncovering the real mechanics of reality. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest. and check back on episodes 1 and 2 if you haven't already. This path builds. Let's go deeper. In ancient Egypt, the Jed pillar was a symbol of stability, but also a symbol of the spine. Why? Because the spine was seen as the channel of awakening, not just physical, but energetic. The Kundalini in yogic systems, the caduceus in hermetic medicine, the serpent that rises, the energy that climbs. The spine is a bridge between the lower self and the higher mind, between instinct and insight. And when it's aligned, when energy flows without resistance, something extraordinary happens. Perception expands, not imagination, perception. You start to feel fields beyond the visible. You notice how certain places feel heavy, how certain people pull your energy, how your own posture changes your mood. These aren't coincidences, they're signals. The antenna is tuning. Even the pineal gland, the so-called third eye, isn't just a poetic metaphor. It's a photoreceptive gland with crystals that respond to frequency. Ancient mystics called it a stargate for a reason, but modern life calcifies it. Dead food, fluoride, blue light, and stress all block the gateway. So, what do? You restore what's been shut down. You move with intention. You breathe with rhythm. You eat for energy, not just taste. You meditate not to escape, but to inhabit. You stop outsourcing your presence to screens and begin tuning inward, back into your instrument. Because this body you're in, it was never designed to be passive. It's a receiver, a transmitter, a temple. And once you understand that, really feel that, the whole game begins to shift. The ancient mystics weren't body-obsessed, they were signal-obsessed. They knew that to access higher realms, you had to first stabilize this one. That meant training the body, not for aesthetics, but for alignment. Monks in Tibet, Sufis in silence, shamans in trance, all of them mastered presence in motion. The body wasn't just a tool, it was a frequency gateway. And modern life, it scrambles that gateway every single day. The chair you sit in, the shoes you wear, the soundscape of your city, the constant flicker of notifications. The culture doesn't want you embodied, it wants you distracted. An antenna too busy buzzing with external noise to receive the real signal that's already inside you. So how do you break free? You unplug from the artificial and re-enter the organic. Spend time barefoot on the earth, not for trend, but for charge. Sit in silence until you hear your own frequency. Let your spine lengthen. Let your breath deepen. Let stillness speak louder than noise. You're not just calming your nervous system, you're clearing the static from your antenna. That's when things get weird. Your dreams become clearer, your instincts sharpen. People start saying you feel different. You notice synchronicities. You feel pulled towards certain people, places, ideas. You don't decide anymore. You resonate. Your life becomes less about chasing and more about tuning. Because when the antenna is clear, the signal is constant. And here's the paradox. The more tuned in you are, the less you have to try. Reality bends not because you control it, but because you match it. And that starts not in your mind, but in your vessel. So now you know, your body was never just a shell. It's not a burden to transcend or a cage to escape. It's the bridge between dimensions, the receiver of memory, the amplifier of intention, the missing key that connects mind, spirit, and world. They trained you to live in your head, to ignore your gut, to numb your senses. But the truth is, nothing changes until you return to sensation, until you re-enter the space behind your eyes, the beat in your chest, the silence between breaths. Because when you're fully in your body, you're no longer just a thinker. You become a tuner of reality. You start feeling what's true before it's said. You sense when something is off, even when it looks fine. You notice energy, rhythm, openings, resistance. The world stops being flat and begins to breathe back. And that's the path forward. Not to escape the matrix, but to master the signal inside it. In episode 1, we revealed the thought matrix, how your own mind has been used against you. In episode 2, we exposed how your frequency is hijacked daily by distractions, addictions, and false inputs. And now, in episode 3, you've seen the body isn't the enemy of awakening, it's the tool. So the real question is, What signal will you choose to broadcast? Because when you step into alignment, your thoughts clear, your frequency rises, and your body remembers, you become the system's biggest glitch. And the moment that happens, you're no longer just watching the game, you're rewriting it. If you've missed the first 2 episodes, go back. They build the foundation. And if you're ready to uncover what happens when you leave the body entirely, meet me in episode 4. We're crossing dimensions next. See you there.